Frame rate probably sucks because I'm downloading something, so.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Probably not. No, I'm still
What could
microTech. Interesting.
what could go wrong?
Let me send you a friend party invite. You just doing dogfighting missions, or
Nope, just chilling.
the pile of P4 magazines here, Wrestler? Okay.
Is it
So
okay?
my armor disappeared, and I have no helmet. So I guess I'm gonna go shopping.
Where we're going, we don't need helmets.
Yes, we do.
Where's that hell? But I don't want to go to hell. Too bad.
Just thirdly cracking your balls all in one swift movement. You get the party invite, by the way?
Eh?
Did you get the party invite?
Nope.
I see how it is now.
Blame Canada.
How do you think we got in this situation in the first place?
Canada. Those fucking bastards.
Nice choice.
Man, that means all my cool helmets are back at Arc Corp and Crusade.
Where we're going, we don't need.
No, wait, I have a few at microTech L1.
Brown chicken, brown can.
I think you're going to be happy with that.
Helmet.
It's a turret.
Yeah, as we were talking about before, the helmets, I definitely would like some kind of... That's why I've been making the HUD stuff. Just, A, it's fun, but also because I feel like we need some kind of visual indicator that we're wearing a helmet. If,
You got nothing.
you know, since we can take them on and off.
You know,
Honestly, you can do is a mix of if the visor helmets, or at least some of the helmets that have their visor's ability to open up without you having to take off the helmet, right? This way you don't have a glass screen in front of you.
But
What they
the
should
best
do is
part.
when that visor is open, you can see the inside of the helmet like you would with the old HUD designs. But when that visor's down, it kind of goes all Tavarin cockpit style, and you don't see it anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
This way you can get best of both worlds, and because you're still wearing the helmet, but now you don't have that HUD display because the visor's up. Where are you?
Base.
The one place that won't be corrupted by capitalism?
Honestly, I've just been pretty much sitting in my ship and poking around it again. Because I can.
Maybe you can do it.
Definitely hope we got more multi-stage missions here soon. Shit.
Party invite.
Party or party?
Why not both? Why not both, I say?
You can speak, my god.
Well, we all learn something at some point.
Do we? Do we all learn?
Okay, we all pretend to learn something at some point.
I mean, that's fair.
Did you get the party invite this time?
Nope.
Really?
What if it's not a party?
There's a lot. Those are missile. Why are there missile magazines on the floor?
Why not?
Thing idea. See how silly we can look.
You're already silly.
Stuff looks sillier. You and I will be the
Clown
silliest.
shoes in this day and age.
That actually doesn't look that bad with the gray pants. Uh-oh. Hey. My bad.
Are you bad?
Oh
at
yes, very.
everything?
I'm a bad boy. I'm bad. Bad. The bone. Bad. They'll send you another party invite, hoping that it works this time.
Huh?
Did you get it?
Get what?
The party invite. I just sent it. Should be on your HUD. Somewhere.
Scanning, 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 scanning. Negative. I still blame Canada.
A little bit difficult that I can't actually invite you to a party, isn't it?
I am probably gonna jump off soon anyway. Pretty much just came in to fucking stare at the stars and go pretty shiny.
Not creepy, crawly, crawly. There's something
The
crawling
only
up my
interesting
wall.
thing going on is fucking Jump Town, and that holds no interest for me.
Oh, I forgot that everything's still going. I know that Ninetales is tomorrow. Hey, anyone want to join us? At least try to get someone to do something. I want to fly with someone. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take out of your book. I can use some. I know relaxation and Star Citizen don't usually go together, but
I just want to see more fucking like I'm glad that we've got more events now, but it's like, honestly, for their first event, do not start knocked it out of the park. Even originally, even with all the issues, but then you had Ninetales, which okay, hey, it's pretty much a straightforward combat op, but okay, whatever. But then you had Jump Town, which in my opinion was pretty much bleh. Especially as they keep on trying to adjust parameters on it.
no, Jump Town I think is a lost cause, and I think Astropub put it perfectly. Actually, I agree with him on this, and that is not to imply I don't agree with him. Just I tuned in and caught him saying this, and
thank you.
They're never going to capture original Jump Town. Callsign and I were saying that back when they announced it.
The original Jump Town was unbalanced as fuck. And they're not going to do that.
Except that gameplay. No, but gameplay wise, it was balanced. Like the reason for Jump Town being in existence was unbalanced, but the event that we created out of that imbalance was balanced.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, you have
better than what we have now.
Orgs locking it down at points. You had just
but you're always gonna have that.
There was a balance to be found there, not really, but
but it was balanced enough that we went in on foot, 4 guys.
It was spontaneous though. Whereas with this, there's no real spontaneity with it.
No,
especially because the environment doesn't support it. There's no use for ground vehicles at all. There's very little use for fighting in general. It's like, generally speaking, if a org wants to go and lock it down, people are going to avoid them. Because people are like, hey, if we conga line this shit, we make far more than trying to fight in org. Because the thing of it is, the event itself, the draw of the event itself is money and fighting.
Well, originally, yes.
It's money. That was the reason for the original Jump Town, was just you can make lots of money. Okay. Thing of it is, once combat starts there, once Jump Town becomes anything more than either one org completely locking it down or a conga line, if there's any kind of dispute in play, instantly there's no money involved. The monetary value is dropped to 0. So it's like, and the thing of it is, that's what supposedly the PvPers want, but
That's not what the rest of us want.
well, exactly. The rest of us want money, which is like, okay, fair enough. But the event itself, it had some of the draw of lots of money, but there was nothing in there, and it was not built to support actual fighting over that money. So as soon as fighting starts, there's no point. Except for those who want to go and fight for fighting's sake, which, fair enough, there are definitely those that do, but there's no value to it. And I think that was the issue. If the fighting itself, like let's say, for example, if Jumptown was that you have a cave with multiple, let's say it has 2 entrances and exits here, and deep in the cave is where the stuff spawns. And so you would have to go and either carry boxes a long way or try to move them a long way, or essentially just conga line with tractor beams out to one person who goes and sells this shit.
I'd love to see that, by the way.
Now you would have something more interesting because you're forcing more team-based stuff.
Also, I think the problem with Jumptown as it
you can't
is,
really lock it down.
like the FPS issues, like you and I've talked about this tons on the podcast stuff, but like the issue with the FPS stuff is also one entrance, one exit, and anytime anyone uses it, everyone outside and inside alike knows.
Yup.
God, this planet. Jumptown was, I think, a mess. Like, I get what they were trying to go for, but they kind of.
Oh, no, they absolutely did. Because again, it seemed like what they wanted, and what that very vocal minority of the community wanted, was fighting. I mean,
And dogfighting specifically.
what CIG wanted was fighting. What the very vocal minority wanted was bait to lure players out so they could gank people. And to a degree, honestly, in terms of the ganking stuff, yeah, it's there because people are going to conga line this shit, as we've seen. I mean, so just like how when there was the Van Duel mask, people are like, hey, let's fucking conga line this shit. It's like there's no real legitimate way unless you're grinding out hours every single day here.
Which is unrealistic.
You're still going to be having to get about 2 kills a day playing every single day here. That's not feasible.
And you only have a month to do it in.
For the average player.
Remember, at the time, you only had a month. It was all only October.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So it's like you would have to get at least 2 kills a day to get 50. So it's like, and for most players, that's not really feasible. Yeah, well, hey, let's conga line this shit. But it's like, the community in general, especially when there's no reason not to, oftentimes comes together. But we're seeing, it's like with Jumptown, if people want to go and gank, it's like no one's stopping you from pulling out a light machine gun and just mowing people down. It's just everyone's going to leave. You're going to be sitting there going, where's all my targets?
Especially at the moment when you can easily just pop a server because all the dynamic back-end technology for server meshing and single instances across multiple servers, all that stuff isn't in yet. So people are just going to, I'm not going to say take the easy way out, but just they're going to leave if you're being a dick. Why deal with it when I don't have to deal with it?
Exactly. And it's like only when, and that's part of the problem too, is that I am worried that as part of balancing for stuff like that in the future, I am worried that CIG is going to put things in as negative consequences, i.e., oh, well, we don't want you doing X. Therefore, we're going to make the game really, really suck if you do X, as opposed to we want you to do Y and avoid X. Therefore, we're going to go and make things better if you do Y. Because as it is, I'm worried
Right,
that it's just
essentially, like we're going to make
like,
you play this way, or you'll be punished for playing another way. Whereas
exactly.
We want options. We want to be able to do both. Yes, one will be more punishing than the other, or just be more difficult, right? Because you're not properly kitted, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like in like an RPG, it'd be
right
level
now,
gapped or whatever. But you still have the option. Like,
it
okay,
takes me 5 minutes to re-equip all my gear, and it's like that already, compared to the previous inventory system, is more punishing. Just when I've already bought gear, extra gear, I've got it available, just going and equipping myself, it's going to take me at least about 5 minutes.
Yeah, because we don't have presets. We can't save, like, oh, every time I click on this undersuit and it's got all the armor and gear and stuff I saved as a preset onto it already. Like, that's not a thing yet. So, more difficult. Also, wow, grav bikes really are more fun now.
Are they?
I'm driving my speeder bike across microTech right now. You know what I can't wait for though? Not my Cyclone. The Ranger. Speeder bikes are great, but give me my traditional wheeled motorcycles. My Space Harley. My chopper. Alright, I can have the actual chopper. Damn, you have to get to the chopper. Ooh, a rough landing. How am I doing on fuel? Oh, I'm fine. I love this thing now. This is the first time I've really used the Dragonfly in probably a year.
Is that actually better? I honestly haven't.
It is. For starters, I'm not like scraping the floor. I can actually lower and raise the Dragonfly's height level. Turning's a lot smoother. It feels a lot better. It's a step in the right direction, I'd say. And now I got a lowrider. I can make it hug the ground if I want to, but even then it's still a little bit off the ground enough that, you know... Okay, it is still pretty bad when I'm ascending it, so I don't have to deal with that. Snowstorm's coming in too. And it definitely feels a lot faster. It is a lot faster, because like the max speed used to be like 40 or 90 depending on what model you were flying. Now it's 160. Almost 170.
That's pretty good.
No, it's great. Like, it was like, oh, you have this grav bike in the 30th century, and it's slower than modern day choppers from 1940. And that doesn't seem right. So.
Yeah,
But they fixed that. So. Adding easily 3 times the speed, 2 times the speed on some of them. I just had the basic Dragonfly black, so. And that's another thing. I do hope that we can customize the bikes extensively, so like, oh, you know, I have a higher output on it, so I can go faster. Yeah, turning is not great, and you know, it's sacrificing power. Nice. So it can't really, like, it doesn't have weapons anymore, but I kitted it out so it's just a speed machine. You know?
But as soon as you come across a turn, the bike itself just spontaneously combusts before the turn even comes.
Yeah, well, I'm not going near any turrets with this thing.
Not turrets, just turns.
Oh, turns. I think turrets. I don't know, I haven't had any problems yet.
Yeah.
I mean, so far so good. What I am going to do though is turn power off to weapons because I don't need weapons.
Roberto, we don't need weapons.
I'm going to use power to shields and engines.
We're going, we don't need shields.
No, that's the problem. I do need shield. I don't need weapons. I mean, I'll keep the weapon. They're ballistic guns, so I don't need power to them really anyways. And I can turn them back on if I need them, but I don't need them, so I don't have to worry. Also, I think I'm lost.
I lost.
Don't care because... Close. I'm going towards the woods. Oh, at some point I do have to take you to the woods on this planet. Because you keep saying that you've never found them.
I've been there on fucking,
microTech?
What you call it? Microtech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Was it you complaining about the woods, or was it someone else?
there. It was someone else.
Probably someone else. I don't know, we all complain. It's modus operandi for us.
What, bitching?
Yes, kvetching. Bitching and kvetching. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
Was
man.
it?
Okay, no, I was just, let's just say I was about to recreate some scenes from Return of the Jedi. Freeze.
Being cut in half, huh?
Okay. I'm still alive. The dragonfly is in fine shape. Shields held. I only hit one tree. And it wasn't that bad. Yeah, they definitely upped the speed and it feels great. It still feels a little janky. It's not perfect.
What is?
Right. But it's definitely a step in the right direction, and if they continue on this path, it's definitely going to be really. They just need to smooth it out a bit. Make the bike a bit more responsive in regards to like when you're flying off the face of a cliff edge, because sometimes you'll like I just sank through the ground a bit and then popped out and was fine, thankfully, but they need to make the bike a little bit better on inclines. That's really the problem I'm suffering here. Oh, I did easily travel 10 clicks from my death. Altitude. Oh, the bike doesn't tell you altitude? Well, that blows. Oh, now it's telling me altitude. Hey! Man, if only I had a rock. I just found some gemstones. Would I even be able to mine these? Oh, they're all Dolomite anyways. That's pretty cool. I just randomly driving around and I found a whole cache of gemstones.
A whole cache of socks, what?
Of what?
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 Socks.
Rocks. Man, this has definitely come a long way though from just like being able to drive the Dragonfly on Daymar way back in 2018. Oh sh! Hitting a tree.
Oh, apparently on the Steam decks, apparently that is Gabe Newell.
I told you it was Gabe Newell.
I fucking doubted.
I told you it was Gabe Newell. I mean, hell, it's hell of marketing, right?
Oh, it is. It is.
Like, how do we market this? Why don't we get the head of the company that just deliver these to people? Brilliant. They can do that, but they still can't make Half-Life 3. Okay.
Exactly.
Bastard. Okay. All right. To be fair, though, was it Mark Laidlaw? Kinda. I don't want to say screwed them over, but just with Epistle 3, it's kind of they couldn't make Half-Life 3 because they had this like they could have tried to adapt Mark Laidlaw's Epistle 3. The script for Half-Life 2 Episode 3 that essentially just
Well, they still own the IP. Like, sure, people know this, know what's going to happen, but only in the loosest of sense.
yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of glad they did what they did with Half-Life Alyx. I wasn't really at first, but I am in retrospect because now I see like, oh, it was a meta thing. But this way they can make Epistle 3 not viable as a continuation. Which means that like now we're not, oh, they can't do this, because now it's like, oh, you're adapting like a comic book story, and if you don't get it right, like they don't have to worry about that now.
Yeah.
Because now it's an open book. Like, okay, Alex is now working for the G-Man, and
well, like the details we got was just that they find the Borealis, which was apparently like teleported away by like Aperture or some shit.
Yeah, it was Aperture Sciences project.
Temporal, portal things going on to where
it was like in multiple places at once because
the fabric of reality is
traveled through time and space. So.
But it's like even within that, it's like there is so much you can do around this, and nothing says they would have to follow the fucking script, right?
Right, especially since the script itself was, someone did a video on it and really well done. I think the channel's called Skirion or Skarion or something, but essentially the game would have just been a lot of exposition. Like, if they were to follow the script precisely.
Well, I mean, and that might have been too partially why we didn't go and get it, just because if they did give us it, it's like, if you have just a whole lot of, like, cinematics and bullshit, and people are like, hey, where's the action? I wanted action.
Exactly,
here.
And that's the thing. It would have just been like one long movie of like people talking about all these theoretical.
But bear in mind, there's still. I mean, for example, you could go and describe Half-Life 1, for example, as I'm trying to escape this crazy research lab and get to the surface. Meanwhile, the military's attacking me.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, sounds kind of boring, right? But, well, hey, there's fucking 15 different levels you have to go through. Oh, and there's all kinds of monstrosities you have to fight.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's like
For example,
not
with just the Half-Life 3 one. It's like, well, hey, we're getting to the Borealis. Oh no, the Combine, we're on to us because they've got military grade tech and we don't, and they shot us down. Okay, we have to go and divert through these caves or these towns or whatever. Okay, there's a good chunk of game right there. You could probably have 20% of slogging through whatever environment you're at. Okay, we've gotten close to the Borealis. Now, oh hey, by the way, there's a Combine base there. Okay, now we got to go through that. Maybe we get captured part way through. Okay, now we got to escape, fight our way through wherever we've been held at now, and then get back on track to the Borealis. Okay, we're back at the Borealis now. Okay, now we have to go through, and there's all these temporal vortexes. I mean, just right there, you've got 4 or 5 different areas there that you can expand upon for your levels and all that shit. It's like, and that's again still using the basic framework that we were given. I mean, I would be happy just to see, because it's like, I don't even think, like, yes, we wanted a conclusion to the story of Gordon Freeman and Alex Vance and the whole Combine threat and all that stuff. It would have been nice to get some kind of a capstone there, but even then, you could say, for example, hey, we pushed back the Combine threat, being the alien menace that was backing them. But at the same point, you still got the Combine forces, which we've seen are at least partially human, along with whatever tech has been left behind.
You still have the
by
remnants,
Combine.
and essentially you dealt with the bad guy, but now you have to clean up the mess that's left behind.
Oh, exactly. So there's all that. On top of which, too, and bear in mind, the entire world's military fell in 7 hours. You're going to have all kinds of areas here where it's like, there's this threat, there's that threat, there were areas where the Combine themselves were holding back threats, and now that they're gone, these entities, I mean, for example, just that one creature in Half-Life 1 that was in the missile silo that we eventually used the thruster to kill.
Yeah, that.
Imagine that, but being free and terrorizing a town
here's the
or something
thing,
like
the
that.
in Half-Life
I mean,
Alyx,
you just got this giant squid crab fucking thing.
in Half-Life Alyx, you actually see one of those things. I mean, technically it's 3 of them. No, it's like a little Easter egg. It's a little baby one that you just see in a bathtub somewhere, and it's like, yeah, it's tiny now.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, what I loved about Half-Life 1 and 2 and Episodes 1 and 2 was just this idea of it's an FPS game, and I mean, there's certainly heavy combat areas, but there's these puzzle aspects to it. It makes you think about it. It actually involves you in the game. It's not just mindlessly mowing down enemies here. It's, okay, hey, there's this world to interact with, and you can use that to help yourself. You can go and use it to, fuck yourself over if you really.
Do you remember what the tagline for Half-Life 1 was?
You can be like, hey, there's combat at this checkpoint, and oh no, they've got this barrier, and I need to tear that barrier down until I can move on. And to do that, oh hey, the Combine have a truck that's plugged into it. Okay, I need to go and get the truck to get pushed down the hill, kind of shit, all while you're fighting Combine forces and reinforcements pop in every now. Like, this is literally what, I mean, when we see games like, for example, what was it called? Watch Dogs. Like Watch Dogs, admittedly, is a bit more of like an RPG-ish kind of thing.
Which one? Because each one's very different.
Watch Dogs 1. But like, the idea behind it is, oh, there's this interactive world, and there's kind of these puzzles that you do. They don't do it really well.
No, but there are puzzles. They're just really poor puzzles.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I mean, so many games have tried to follow in the footsteps of Half-Life, and I think
because Half-Life kind of set the bar.
Issue, what's that?
Half-Life set the bar in 1998.
Oh, it did. And Half-Life 2 again set it.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is that for what it is, Half-Life is relatively simplistic, and that with that simplicity,
I mean, think about Half-Life
comes power.
Half-Life 2 Episode 1, right? What's the plot of that game? You're literally just escaping City 17. You escape the Citadel, then you escape City 17. That's it. That's the story of that game.
And bear in mind too, that's essentially an entire short game, but an entire game that's just escape the city.
Yep.
I mean, again, on the note of, oh well, what could they do with just this one plot point? I mean, the entire plot of it was escape the city, but you have several levels where it's drawn out, where you're getting diverted here or there, subplots going on.
Like, oh, you meet up with Barney and some
makes the game.
resistant survivors, and now you have to help them escape as well. It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
Also, in
and by the time you get out of there, everyone's getting on the train and shit.
Also, according to the script of Epistle 3, it wouldn't have been a conclusion. And that's not like they would have continued with like Episode 4 or Half-Life 3 or whatever. Like, it wouldn't have been concluded. It would just leave you with more questions. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Fair enough, but it would have continued. And that's I think what people really wanted is just
the ongoing story.
You have this high bar of quality. People are like, I would like more of this. Not even necessarily, I want more of the story, but just I want more of this level of quality here. Because it's like I would love to go and see just more stuff set in the Half-Life universe. Because I mean, so far, realistically, we've had 2 games and a couple spin-offs here and there, but we've had primarily 2 games where it's Gordon Freeman being the main character, and one with Alex being the main character. You have so many other characters here, and so many different aspects you can explore. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I did like that they did kind of go into that and do it in a somewhat realistic way. Yep. Yeah, he fires it next to Alex. Alex immediately just dies of liver failure. I mean, nuclear radiation. But just I think really it's like yeah, if they ever actually did try to do Half-Life 3, then you know, yes, it would never be able to live up to expectations. Yeah, but I mean it would be nice though if we were to go and see that, you know, down the line here, whenever, just more Half-Life. And it doesn't necessarily need to be following Gordon or Alex even, but just more of the, I mean, just looking at what the modding community have done in the Half-Life engine, and so many spin-offs, you know, ones where it's like, oh, you're a Combine soldier fighting resistance members, or you're a, yeah, exactly, just so much there. It's like you have this whole world to explore.
Yeah.
Like any direction you really want to go in with it, you can.
Yeah, and like, you know, like as you mentioned, like, you know, a Combine soldier fighting resistant soldiers, or resistant soldiers fighting Combine soldiers, like where you just play the random resistance guy. You're not Gordon Freeman, or Alex, or you know, even Barney. Right, and I know I saw someone on ModDB. There's a mod for like a Blue Shift 2, like set during Half-Life 2. It's all, yeah, it's definitely a universe that I feel like. Imagine a game where you play as a Vortigaunt with all those freaky powers. That'd be interesting. Like, yeah, you can do all sorts of crazy shit with that. That's a sign of a good franchise, of a good universe and stories. That the universe itself is interesting, even when it's not just following the main character. That's how you and I kind of, you know, really got into. Well, was it's like, hey, look at all these side stories that don't just follow the main characters' games. Like, you know, just Joe Schmo ODST or Marine duking it out against the Covenant. Killer Sunset. Yeah, he's still there.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, you know, it'd be a pretty cool idea.
ice cubes.
Half-Life 3. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
But even so, like spin-offs are good too, just because like Half-Life is still a story that we don't know a lot about. Yeah, we know all about Black Mesa, we know all about Aperture, we know all about
Well, I mean, for example,
the seven.
give us a fight during the 7-hour
Yeah,
war.
the 7-hour war.
Like we're some random fucking soldier during the 7-hour war, and yeah, we're seeing the fall of humanity here. You know, you could have all kinds of
FF2.
crazy weapons, tanks, bipedal mechs, whatever the fuck here. You know, you can pretty much invent whatever you want. So it's like the Combine are going to use their own shit once they roll in.
Also, you gotta remember, like, yes, this is technically a world where it's just like ours until I'd say it's like it's like a Fallout style thing where like there's a divergence between our universe and theirs, right? Sort of. Like, okay, like technology wise, like everything is the same as our universe up until 1998. Then technology kind of goes upward in awesomeness because hey, look, Half-Life, Black Mesa, advancements. But
Unless that's what they want us to think.
but that no, they can easily have a mech or whatever because again, we're never going to see them again anyways. And besides, you know, they got the Combine have the Striders and the gunships.
Well, exactly. It's like you might have some kind of a weird mech thing that the Combine, because we've seen when we're told the Combine will adapt what's already available for use. That's why
they're called the Combine.
Soviet era kind of bullshit going on here. Like, well, hey, there's a lot of this lying around. Let's fucking use it.
I mean, and you look at like the Striders themselves, like in a lot of the vehicles for the Combine are techno-organic. You know, they're creatures merged with machines.
I wouldn't be surprised to see with, especially some of the more elite Combine forces, like full soldiers and the ones who were in the white armor, who actually had like really heavy weapons.
Right, like the pulse cannons, the pulse rifles.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that they were similar to in Mass Effect 3, when we see some of the Cerberus soldiers, and they're like this, they started off human, but they're this like at one point, I remember Mass Effect 3, like they rip off a Cerberus soldier's helmet, like it fell off or something, and the soldier's this partial mix of being like a husk and a regular human soldier, as the Reaper tech is being fused more and more in them, and it's taking over more and more.
Right, it's adapting, it's assimilating them.
I wouldn't be surprised to see these Combine soldiers in a similar kind of way, to where it's taking them over.
That's what I like about some of, like, I've seen some really cool, there's a channel on YouTube called The Parry God, yeah, I know, who does, like, the Source Filmmaker 2 stuff, using the Half-Life Alyx Source engine, and in one of them, he has a Combine soldier that's, like, this giant guy, and the eyes, like, there's no way that thing's human. There's no way. But, again, like, this is earlier on in the timeline, right? This isn't Half-Life 2, this is, like, 5+ years before Half-Life 2. So there aren't as many human soldiers in the Combine as there are at the time of Gordon returns. So it's cool that that's like a nice touch. Hey, here are some non-human Combine soldiers, right? The Combine soldiers that are not from Earth, that were relocated here along with the rest of the Combine that are here as a contingent of slave humanity.
Because and we never really did get a good explanation of even what the Combine are. Like we knew they were being led by some like
the advisors
leader being in Half-Life 1, but we killed them. obviously that didn't actually stop them, because when we then get back, so
No, that
and
wasn't the Combine in
I'm
Half-Life
always
1.
assuming,
That wasn't the Combine.
yeah, it was, but at the same point, we never really get much of an explanation. Okay, we killed it, and then at
Space
least
baby.
as far as our info goes, and I'm expecting the G-Man to do some fuckery with this, but my take on it is that, so you kill it, you get the ending. G-Man is like, if you agree to work for us, great. If you don't, pretty much you're screwed, no matter what. Okay, you agree. Okay, and then my take on it is that pretty much when you go and walk through the doorway there and see the ending of Half-Life 1, you immediately go into Half-Life 2. Like, as far as you are concerned, no time has passed, essentially. Maybe like in the back of your mind time has passed, but
I mean, you can tell visually time has passed, but for you, it feels like you went to sleep for a nap and then you woke up the next day.
Yeah, and you woke up and it's,
and all of a sudden you're in like a 1984 style Earth where humanity is enslaved by an interdimensional alien empire.
Yeah, we know it's within approximately like 20 years or so, given that we know Alex was alive.
He was like 4 years old at the time of the Black Mesa.
Yeah, so, like she would have
like
been like a young child there. So we know it's relatively around 20 years, or because she's either late teens, mid 20s, somewhere in that ballpark range there. But that's about all we really know. And again, my take on it is that pretty much Gordon walking through that, G-Man did some temporal fuckery here. And surprise, Gordon, 15 or 20 years have passed.
I mean, yeah, because Gordon is still biologically the same age as he was in Half-Life 1 when you're in Half-Life 2 and
given also the cover art.
However, you're obviously I think he's 27 during the events of Half-Life 1, so he's 20, and obviously meaning he's 27 throughout all the games. But he should be obviously 47 because it's been 20 years. But obviously, time fuckery and G-Man being essentially a godlike being.
But it's like we never really get. It's like, okay, so we killed the being leading the Combine here, who was the Combine. Obviously, that didn't stop the overall invasion and all that shit. Maybe instead of being destroyed, humanity was subjugated instead. Which, okay, that's damning with little praise there. But we still don't really know. Why was humanity subjugated here? Who was now leading these forces? Because like we saw the entities that were like in the little like pod,
the advisors,
thing. The advisors. It's like, okay, they're advisors. To who? So obviously they're higher up in the food chain here. Humanity is pretty much at the bottom. The advisors, are above Dr. Breen, because we see him talking to them.
I think he becomes one.
He's always like supplicating them for, info, supplies, whatever.
Yeah, like remember at the end of Half-Life 2 when he's before he drops the gravity gun, when when we're trying to confront him, when he's like, "What do you mean a host body?" Like talking about how like he has to. They're gonna, I think, put him into one of those Combine advisor bodies, or a copy of his consciousness into one,
or put something into him.
So he's essentially now
supposed to be an equal here. Hey, surprise.
I mean, at this point, he's just another cog in the machine. It doesn't really matter what level.
Because also, too, with that, you could very easily have some other main character here playing alongside some of the stuff going with like Half-Life 2 of filling in some of these gaps. Because we've had Half-Life Alyx kind of filling in some gaps between 1 and 2 here, but it's like there's so much else going on here.
You have a 20-year
It's like,
gap.
you know, what's happening around the world? We're only seeing what happened right around City 17, pretty much at the doorstep of the Combine. What's happening in all the peripheral here? What's happening everywhere else?
Well, we know what happened at Ravenholm. We find out that story as we play through that level and through other sources.
Oh, yeah.
So, but like, yeah, areas like America, because City 17 is not America. What?
It would be, theoretically.
No, I think they said it's like somewhere in...
Yeah.
Remember, everyone's being moved around.
It was in America, right? Like the Black Mesa facility was in like Arizona.
Yeah. That was on the West Coast or something, or near Western United States.
But you know, that leaves
Midwest.
the entire world. Who knows?
Yeah, but that was 20 years. That was before the 7-Hour War. What happened after or during?
But it's like, you know, so it's like, who knows what's going? I mean, you could have an entire game of some resistance member or task force being asked to go into the ruins of Black Mesa and retrieve some, you know, needed
You mean
tech
the ruins
to
that got nuked?
make the gravity gun
Um,
or something. Who knows?
the ruins that got nuked.
Details. I mean, realistically,
Uh,
a nuke ain't gonna do shit to Black Mesa.
that's true. Except it was detonated. It was detonated
it'll
inside.
Fuck the top side up.
It was
It'll
detonated. I
fuck
think inside. I think in opposing force.
Was it?
Yeah, G-Man, of course, as always, is the one responsible for everything. Essentially, had to let a nuke go off and stuff. I'm pretty sure Black Mesa's no more. I could be wrong.
I honestly though, even if you had a nuke,
Oh, there's still. Here's the thing: a
there,
nuke won't destroy the entirety of this facility, but
yeah,
a good
fuck
portion
parts
of it
sure.
will be extremely gone,
But I mean, even then,
and the remains are going to be highly radioactive. So,
Well, sure, but it's like, you know, okay, you got to go. You know, there's certain areas you got to avoid. You get an HEV suit. You're like, okay, I can protect myself against some of this radiation here, as long as I'm not swimming in radioactive goo.
even then, if Gordon didn't have any problem.
Yeah. Gordon was walking around. You know, you hear like the Geiger counter sound going off if you're near the toxic goo, but it's like if you're standing next to it, your vision starts going all fucking wonky, but you're fine. In as much as that counts for anything.
Although I'm sure people are always making jokes like, "Oh, he has massive brain cancer because of it." It's like probably, but like this, I know like everyone always makes a joke. Does he wear the helmet or not? Right? I think he does.
Well,
but
realistically, though,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if as part of, you know, because again, G-Man was like, you know, you're working for us now.
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that G-Man can wave his hand and go, oh yeah, all that, because I mean, realistically, he'd have like 15 types of fucking cancer just from all of the shit he was exposed to there, HEV suit notwithstanding. I wouldn't be surprised that G-Man kind of wave his hand and go, yeah, you're fine, you know, at least for now,
Yeah.
you're fine.
Well, pretty much like every time G-Man sees him, he can just go like hand wave him. You're now fine. Literally just wave a hand and you're now.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't he done that at least once or twice?
I mean, he at least did so at the end of Half-Life 1 when he's like, you know, Dr. Freeman in the flesh, or rather the hazmat
You would have been
suit.
pretty damn fucked.
Because, you know, he takes all your weapons, essentially. I imagine at least he's kind of like, okay, I healed you, you're now, like, perfectly fine. However, I'm now going to make you an offer. You can either, you know, you've proved yourself a decisive man, either walk through this door, or win a battle that you can, fight a battle you can never win. And, you know, he puts you in all those Hive soldier guys, right, from Half-Life 1.
Yeah, you pretty much just get surrounded and insta-gibbed.
Yeah, it's essentially like, welcome to a Doom level from Doom 1. And then also you gotta remember, like, Half-Life really does a good job making you think, because the tagline of Half-Life 1 was run, think, shoot, live. Like, the whole point is you're not this, you know, super badass super soldier guy. You're a theoretical physicist from MIT in a you know, armored power.
And now you got a little bit of protection here, but you aren't some fucking super soldier.
You're not. Yeah, the suit can save you, but it's not indestructible. It's just a high tech hazmat
Go
suit.
up against a couple of soldiers, and they're gonna start like, especially too when you were up against like the fucking the
Marines,
spies and all that shit. Like, or like even when you're going up against combine snipers and that shit.
oh
like,
god, they essentially like 2 shots, you're done.
Yeah, if you're at like full health, like one shot, one hit.
Right.
takes you down,
Essentially,
like,
if you're at full health and that's like with power to the HEV suit, you're fine for 1 hit, but the next hit you won't be. Of course, this depends on difficulties.
I think I want to say if you're at full health, full charge, I want to say you can take 2 shots, but you're going to be practically dead at the you're going to have like 10 health.
Probably. I was referring to just like full health, but a little bit of charge.
Health,
1 shot, and then next shot.
And still be alive, but you're close to death.
Yeah. Also, remember in what was in Half-Life 1 when you get the I don't remember what the level's called, unethical something. I'm blanking on it. But it had a killer soundtrack. But when you get ambushed in the lobby. Right, just after you rescued the science team, like, okay, we can let you through, and then the doors close behind you, and you're trapped by all the Marines. Like, how many times do you get killed by the Marines in that room?
Yeah, too many.
Like, oh yeah, there's no cover because they're shooting at you from above, from all these different angles, and yeah, you're using chairs, but I mean, like, they're chairs, they're not.
But I do find it funny
Not sandbags.
when you got shit like you've got like a fucking like regular table. Now it's like, yeah, it's wood, but it's about like a 1/4 inch of wood, and they're shooting at it. And you're crouched behind it, and it's like the bullets knock off a tiny sliver of wood, and that's it. And realistically, of course, it'd be like
It'll go right through that table.
Perforated.
That table would
the table's perforated, and so are you.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, obviously, that table would just make it a little worse because now you have splinters along with the bullet.
I mean, at that point, the splinters are the least of your worries.
Still making it worse for you, though, because that bullet's just going to go right through it.
Oh yeah, it's like we want more of that shit.
No, I mean, like, everyone, like, what's face, Half-Life 1 Opposing Force, like, everyone loves that, and for good reason. Like, it's a great spin-off.
And that's what we need, like, give us an official spin-off of a Combine soldier. Maybe a Combine soldier who ends up, like, joining the Resistance one way or the other.
Like, kind of like a Barney type, like an actual soldier, like brainwashed and all, or just like a combat, like a CP.
I mean, I'm talking like someone who's like civil protection, and maybe like they're like they follow along behind the like one of the actual like Combine soldier units to kind of go in like after they do and restore peace.
Right.
The Combine soldiers just tell me, oh yeah, look at all the
sterilization,
slaughter the rebels did. When it's really them, of course. And you see like the first couple of levels, like you actually like you're chasing down some of the Resistance members. And then you see, like, they're like, oh, please, we surrender, we aren't fighters, we're just, and then you see, one of the Combine soldiers like, blam, 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 and they're like, and the civil protection guy is like, well, I knew the Combine were brutal, but I always thought they were still like the good. They had humanity's best interests at heart, and now I see that's not the case at all. Oh shit! It's like maybe then it's like the Combine soldier turns and goes like, we can't have any witnesses to this. He's about to kill you. You kill him. that starts
or
you up,
even
and now
even it's
you're
something
on
as
the
simple as
run.
like, you know, they're bad, but it's like you're joined up with the civil protection because damn it, you want to live and you want food. But that's like
Well,
you
I
and
mean,
you know what
sure,
they're
but
doing
it's
is
like,
wrong, but it's like you
it
want to
would be-
survive, but then you get fed up with it and you're like, screw it, I'm siding with humanity on this. I can't take it anymore, right? Like that's also a good dynamic.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's also, I would say, more interesting to see someone who thought at least like yeah, they're bad, but the alternative is worse, right? Until you see, well, no, there is no alternative. They are the worst.
They are the
You know,
alternative as well.
either way, you're going to die. It's just a question of if you die fighting them, or if you die just because they've decided you've outlived your usefulness.
Right.
Like, well, screw it. I'm going to go and fight.
Exactly, and that's the whole point. But look, either way, I think would work. I was just listing another example.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, because you have people early in at least in Half-Life 2. Granted, this is 20 years later, and that's when Gordon Freeman arrives and gives them all hope again. But it's like in Half-Life 2, like you have civilians in that train station. They're like, man, I think I might just join CP just for a decent meal, stuff like that. It's like because that's how they do it. It's a psychological tactic to manipulate the populace to join up with them just for better treatment, even not much better.
Or things I can also too on top of that, okay, we've seen all kinds of like vehicle use, even in Half-Life 1 we had some very simplistic vehicle use there. Hey, maybe down the line, again, we've got this guy who presumably was former civil protection. Maybe you can go and fly a helicopter around for a level.
Or whatchamface, those giant like tank those APCs that they drive around. I don't know the name of them.
Honestly, that'd be pretty cool.
I remember the first time I saw one of those.
You're grabbing resistance members, how you could in Half-Life 2 episode 1 and 2. Like as you drive around, you can pick up more resistance members. They fill in the back of the thing and are like gunning it. And,
seriously, you can't tell me that the first time you saw that you're like, man, I want to drive that thing.
Fuck yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, it's a pretty basic looking APC, and it's just black. There's nothing like spectacular about it, but it just looks cool. And damn it, it's an APC. Got a big gun on it. Looks massive. Can run things over. What else do you need? Like you have Highway 17 in Half-Life 2, where you drive around in that bare bones car, or the what's face highway, the water hazard, right, where you're in the airboat. Give me a level, like if you're gonna do that type of game where you play as a CP, give me the freaking APC car to drive around for a level.
And plus, bear in mind too that the APCs, on top of them having a gun turret, they've got mortars. Remember?
Yeah.
So
and they can fit multiple people, as opposed to the
shit.
Right, and they can
or
fit
even
multiple people.
Even just like let's say if two, for example, at certain points, like early on in the game, it could be you're still doing your work for civil protection, and so you're ordering mortars from your squad. Like you can go and throw down like some kind of a HUD designator, and they'll fire mortars there. And then there's like a recharge.
Like Assassin's Creed Black Flag style, where like you're yeah.
And then down the line, like you might have like you helped some resistance forces capture one or two of those, and so again bringing that mechanic back. Like, okay, now we're using these mortars to fight off the Combine or whatever other alien forces or creatures we're fighting against here.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like you have so many, like there's so much you can do, and obviously a lot of people, like the community is awesome. They've been doing this with mods. Like, I already know there's a few Combine like CP mods where you play as a CP. Most of them are really like goofy, but there are some where like they're pretty dark. Like, oh, you're a CP and you're just going in from building to building just with an MP7 annihilating civilians, because that's what the CP do. And like that's another thing too is like, okay, you're playing as a CP, right? That means you have Overwatch in your ear.
That would be interesting.
That would be, honestly, that would be uneasy, but in a freaking cool way, you know? Yeah, like Overwatch, all the medical lingo.
It's like evil Cortana.
I mean, yeah, like all the medical lingo that Overwatch uses to, sterilize, like and for the CPs, like judgment and sterilize, category 4, or whatever it is. Like you just gotta dispense your judgment by killing everyone in the room, essentially.
I mean, it's like Judge Dredd, but
But evil, evil Judge Dredd.
I mean, to be fair, Judge Dredd, especially at the beginning, was pretty darn merciless. It's like I remember there was in the original Sylvester Stallone.
Oh yeah,
movie,
but
there was like some shootout or something, and some guy like he had like climbed in. I want to say it was something like a bridge or something to take cover, and Judge was like, you vandalized public property. Fine. He's like, dude, I was just trying to live. Like, what the hell?
the context for that is it's a post. It's essentially, yeah, it's an extreme future. Obviously, it's a post-nuclear, like literally, it's a post-nuclear apocalypse. There is like a wasteland, like Badlands area, in it. But essentially, yeah, Judge Dredd. Obviously, cops are judge, jury, and executioner, and the judges. I think the Judge Dredd movie, literally the 1995 one, bad example. The 2012 one definitely is a better example.
I thought it was pretty decent, especially too because you see character growth.
Oh well, if you like, that's what I liked about the 2012 one though, is because like you see Judge Dredd, he is merciless, like he's just killing the bad guys, right? Like no, for instance, like a misdemeanor, you go to prison, in the extreme crimes, you just get killed on the spot. And you see he's taking on the new recruit, Anderson, and he's kind of like, no, we can be better than just murdering everyone. And Dredd is like not having any of it, but by the end he kind of like it's like, yeah, the growth thing where it's the new recruit, the idealistic recruit, kind of sets him straight. Also, they actually got Dredd right in that movie. Off the helmet. I think the problem with the Stallone one is they tried to adapt like 7 different comic book stories all at once.
I mean, I still think they did a decent job with it.
Like, it's a fun movie. It's just
could it have been
not
better?
a great.
Yes, but
it's not. It's like it's a classic. It's a good movie. It's not a good Judge Dredd movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, cause here's the thing too, though. Like visually, I love that movie. I love the designs and stuff. I like the alterations to the costume that they made in that film. The Lawgiver looks great. Just the atmosphere of the world is good, but I think, yeah, it definitely has its flaws too. But back to the whole CP thing, like that would be a very. What would you even? You can't really call it opposing for. I guess Half-Life Combine, Half-Life Civil. I don't know, Civil Protection.
Yeah, Half-Life Civil Protection. Oh yeah, call it like Half-Life 2 Civil Protection, something along those lines, or yeah, Half-Life Protection Unit 82, so some shit like that.
Or Half-Life 2, like Half-Life Combine, something like that, just something simple.
Yeah. It gives you access to more of the Combine tech and stuff.
Yeah, like a pulse carbine or something.
Well, that and stuff like, you remember in Half-Life 2 when you're running around and you would see like a door and it has like some kind of a weird futuristic combined locky thing on
Yes,
them.
and you can't
couldn't do
open them at
anything
all.
with
Yes.
it. Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be like, well, hey, I've got a tool that can go and open those, or maybe there's like a mini game where you have to like hack
Or it's like
those open
a
or something.
biometric scanner thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
Because we know that they've
and
genetically
some of
coded
those-
weapons. Like the Combine genetically coded
Yeah.
weapons to
Do
soldiers.
they? I mean, you pick up their weapons all the time, though.
Oh yeah, obviously in the. I remember. I think that a line in Half-Life Alyx, like in the one of the intros of Half-Life Alyx, mentioned it. But again, that's earlier. That's earlier in the.
Gordon can pick up anything and everything.
Yeah, but that's Gordon Freeman. Also, I guess gameplay reasons.
I'm not buying it. Actions speak louder than words, and actions
I agree,
say I can
but
use whatever the fuck.
I'm just
pick
saying.
up.
I just remember hearing that somewhere. I don't know if it was Half-Life Alyx or if it was somewhere else.
Even if they did have a line on that, I don't buy that.
Also, it could be weapons that we just haven't used yet either, because I don't think they remember.
I mean, I suppose.
You know, like, for instance, I'm pretty sure there is a pulse carbine. Like, we've used a pulse rifle, but we've never used a pulse carbine in a half.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anywho, I need to go and head to bed, so I'm jumping out.
Alright,
See you.
take care. See you tomorrow. Continue driving about? Where's my ship and all? Oh, okay, I'm going the right way. That's good. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to go use the restroom real quick and I talked to my roommate about something. But I'm back now. Back in the saddle again. Where do I want to go? I feel like I'm just gonna drive. Let's just go from moon to moon and drive around. I'm not going to that moon though. Usually the moon where jump time's happening. Been there a lot lately. Or a lot last month. Behind me.